Welcome. This lesson is for BSc 5th semester students. The lesson is from Physiology and Biochemistry paper. The topic is muscle contraction. With the help of this lesson, the learners will be able to know and understand about different types of muscle, that is skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle and smooth muscle. And the structure of the skeletal muscle in detail, its ultrastructure of the muscle fiber and the structure of sarcomere, which is a unit of contraction and relaxation. Movement is one of the important characteristic feature of animals. The animals move from one place to the other for various purposes. This is called as locomotion. Animals move from one place to the other for the search of food, suitable microhabitat, mate, and to evade from predators. Primitive organisms like protozoans have developed different locomotory organelles and mechanisms for their movement, like pseudopodia, flagella and cilia. Higher animals also have these structures in their cells. Higher animals, including man, make use of muscles to produce force and motion. Muscles are primarily responsible for maintaining and changing posture, locomotion, and internal movements like peristalsis, heartbeat, breathing movements, movement of blood and urine, then ejection of milk, ejaculation of sperm, and parturition, that is childbirth. So the muscles also help in maintaining or regulating the body temperature by generating heat during cold stress by shivering. The term muscle has been derived from a Latin word musculus, meaning it literally means a running mouse. So it was thought that beneath the skin the muscle would move like a running mouse. There are more than 600 muscles in a human body, and all these together constitute about 40% of the body's weight. Muscle has four important characteristic features. One is excitability. Excitability is the ability to react to a stimulus. And the second is contractility. Contractility is the ability to become shorter and thicker. And third is extensibility, is the ability to become longer and thinner. And fourth is elasticity. Elasticity is the return to their original, the ability to return to their original shape after extending. So all these characteristic features, they are responsible for movement of the muscles. Muscle is a biological machine which converts chemical energy stored in the form of ATP into mechanical energy and brings about movement. Now let us see about different types of muscles. The three different types of muscles are cardiac muscles, skeletal muscles and smooth muscles. Now let us see in detail about skeletal muscle. Skeletal muscles are named so because they are attached to the bones. They move the bones by contracting and relaxing in response to the messages received from the somatic motor neurons. Hence, they are under the conscious control and are called as voluntary muscles. The muscles, skeletal muscles, are long, cylindrical and unbranched cells. When observed under microscope, the skeletal muscle fibers show striations, horizontal striations. Hence, they are called as striated muscles. They respond quickly to stimuli and are capable of rapid and powerful contractions for movement and locomotion. They fatigue easily due to their rapid movements, rapid contractions. The muscle cells are also called as muscle fibers. The muscle fibers range in length from 10 to 30 centimeters and a diameter of 10 to 100 micrometers. Each muscle fiber is multinucleated syncytium. That is, about 35 nuclei are present for muscle fiber. So this indicates that each muscle fiber is formed by the union of myofibrils which are fused during development, during the process of development, and that process is called as myogenesis. The nuclei are located just beneath the sarcolemma, and these nuclei are ovoid, that is, they are oval in shape, and they are parallel to the long axis of the muscle fibers. Cytoplasm of muscle fiber is called as sarcoplasm. The sarcoplasm consists of many myofilaments which are arranged in the form of bands, and these bands make the muscle to be striated. That is, because of the presence of these bands, the skeletal muscle appears to be striated and hence called as striated muscle. Now let us see about cardiac muscle. Cardiac muscle tissue forms the wall of the heart. Cardiac muscle structure is intermediate, lying between skeletal muscle and smooth muscle. Like skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle is also striated. That is, it consists of myofilaments, but its contraction is not under the control of our conscious. Hence, cardiac muscles are called as involuntary muscles. Cardiac muscle cell fiber is uninucleate. It consists of one nucleus per cell, and it is similar to that of the smooth muscle. And functionally also, cardiac muscle is similar to smooth muscles. That is, cardiac muscle as well as smooth muscle are involuntary muscles. Cardiac muscle cells are short, branched, and they are uninucleate. They are interconnected with one another, forming by intercalated discs. The muscle cells are interconnected by each other with intercalated discs. Intercalated discs are the regions where gap junctions are present. The gap junctions permit diffusion of ions and spread the electric excitation from one cell to the other. The mass of interconnected cardiac muscle cells form a single functional unit called myocardium. In the myocardium, the spontaneous excitation occurs in a specific region called pacemaker. In human, the pacemaker is the sino-auricular node, and from this pacemaker, the excitation or the wave of contraction spreads throughout the myocardium via gap junctions, and thus they cause contraction of the muscle. Now let us study about smooth muscle. Smooth muscle do not show any striations, hence it is called as smooth muscle. Smooth muscles are located in the walls of the hollow visceral organs, hence they are called as visceral muscles. They are present in the the wall of the hollow visceral organs such as uterus, stomach, intestine, urinary bladder. The smooth muscles are present in the passage walls of the arteries and veins of the circulatory system and in the tracts of respiratory system, urinary system and reproductive system. They are also present in the muscles of the eye which help in changing the size of the iris and shape of the lens. They are also located in the skin which help in making the hair erect in case of fear or cold. Smooth muscle is called as involuntary muscle as it is innervated by the autonomic nervous system and is not under the conscious control. Smooth muscle fibers they contract slowly, rhythmically and they show sustained contractions. Smooth muscles do not fatigue as their response is slow. Smooth muscle cells are spindle shaped and they are tapering at their ends and in the center they are wider. The diameter of these smooth muscle cells varies. At their tapering ends, the diameter is about 1 micrometers and in the widest region, the diameter is about 8 micrometers. The length of the smooth muscle cells vary according to the organ in which they are present. For example, the smooth muscles in the blood vessels are about 20 micrometers in length, and while the smooth muscle cells in the intestine are about 200 micrometers in length, and the smooth muscles in the pregnant uterus are about 500 micrometers in length. The smooth muscle cells consist of a single nucleus which is located in the center wider portion and usually the nucleus is present in the center. Smooth muscle cells are arranged in sheets and organized into two layers of closely opposed fibers, that is circular and longitudinal muscles. Smooth muscles, in smooth muscles also the actin and myosin filaments are present, but they are different from that of the skeletal muscles. These muscle filaments, they provide motor power to the substances that flow through the channels related to digestion, secretion, excretion, respiration and reproduction by a way of peristaltic movements. Smooth muscles are of two types again. They are divided into two types: single unit smooth muscles and multi-unit smooth muscles. Now let us see the structure of skeletal muscle. Skeletal muscle is composed of skeletal muscle cells called skeletal muscle fibers. Apart from these muscle fibers, skeletal muscle consists of connective tissue, blood vessels and nerves. Each muscle has three layers of connective tissue. One is epimysium, perimysium and endomysium. The epimysium is a dense layer of connective tissue that surrounds the skeletal muscle. And it consists of collagen fibers. And next is perimysium. Perimysium divides the skeletal muscles into bundles. These bundles are called as fasciculi. Each fasciculus consists of 10 to 100 muscle fibers. So each such bundle or fasciculus is covered by a layer of connective tissue called perimysium. Perimysium, it consists of collagen fibers, elastic fibers. In addition to them, blood vessels and nervous tissue is also present. So these blood vessels and nerves, they serve the muscle fibers present in the each fasciculus. Endomysium is a elastic flexible connective tissue layer, and it consists of a capillary network which supplies blood to the each muscle fiber, and it also consists of nerves which control the muscle fiber, and myosatellite cells these are the stem cells that help in repair of the damaged cells. At the end of each muscle, the collagen fibers of the epimysium, perimysium and endomysium interweave with each other and form a bundle-like structure called tendon. And sometimes a broad sheet-like structure is also formed, that is called as aponeurosis. Tendons and aponeurosis attach the skeletal muscles to the bone. At the point where the tendons and aponeurosis attach the bone, the collagen fibers extend into the bone matrix and they provide firm attachment. As a result, the contraction of the muscle as a result of the muscle contraction, the bone is pulled. Some muscles are not attached to the bones. Example, sphincters, where sphincters are located near the openings, and muscles of tongue and abdomen. Now let us see the ultrastructure of muscle fiber. Each muscle consists of hundreds to thousands of muscle cells called muscle fibers. They are called muscle fibers because they are elongated in structure. The typical length of the muscle fiber ranges to 10 centimeters, but in some muscles the length of the muscle fiber is 30 centimeters, for example thigh muscle. The diameter of the muscle fiber ranges from 10 micrometers to 100 micrometers. The plasma membrane of the muscle fiber is called as sarcolemma. And beneath this sarcolemma, we can find many nuclei are present. The cytoplasm of the muscle is called as sarcoplasm. Thousands of tiny invaginations project from the sarcolemma towards the center of the muscle fiber. These invaginations are called as T tubules, that is transverse tubules. So these transverse tubules are open towards the surface and interstitial fluid is filled within these T tubules. The action potentials, they travel along the sarcolemma through the T tubules. The presence of T tubules help in spreading the action potential throughout the muscle fiber at the same instant. A fluid-filled membranous sac called sarcoplasmic reticulum encircles each myofibril. So this sarcoplasmic reticulum is similar to endoplasmic reticulum of non-muscular cells. The dilated ends of this sarcoplasmic reticulum, they are called as terminal cisternae. So these terminal cisternae, which are present on either side of the T tubule, the terminal cisternae which are present on either side of the T tubule, together form the triad system. They together form the triad system. In a resting muscle fiber, the sarcoplasmic reticulum, it stores the calcium ions. The sarcoplasm contains many cell organelles like mitochondria, the important cell organelles, and the mitochondria present in sarcoplasm are called as sarcosomes. So these sarcosomes are present strategically closer to the contractile machinery which require ATP for contraction, so that these sarcosomes can produce ATP that is needed by the contractile machinery. The sarcoplasm consists of glycogen granules and myoglobin. Myoglobin binds with the oxygen molecules that diffuse into the muscle fiber from interstitial fluid. So this myoglobin, it binds with oxygen, and whenever oxygen is needed by the mitochondria for the production of ATP, myoglobin releases the oxygen molecules. When observed under the high magnification, it is seen that the sarcoplasm consists of many thread-like structures, and these thread-like structures are called myofibrils. Myofibrils are the contractile elements of the muscle fiber. Myofibrils are 2 micrometers in diameter, and they extend throughout the length of the muscle fiber. Due to the presence of these myofibrils, the muscle appears to be striated. Myofibril consists of 2 types of myofilaments. They are thick filaments and thin filaments. Thick filaments and thin filaments. This is a portion of thick filament. Thick filament is of 16 nanometers in diameter and 1 to 2 micrometers in length. So this thick filament is composed of mainly a protein called myosin. So this myosin protein is present in all muscles, including the smooth muscles. Myosin protein is a motor protein. Motor proteins pull the cellular structures uh, so that a movement occurs in them. Myosin protein is a motor protein, and motor proteins they pull the cellular structures for the production of movement by converting the chemical energy in ATP to mechanical energy, that is production of force. Mechanical energy of motion, that is the production of force. About 300 myosin molecules together unite and form thick filament in a skeletal muscle. The myosin tail, formed of two alpha helices, points towards the M line that is present in the sarcomere. The tails of the nearby myosin tails lie closer together, lie parallel one over the other, and they form the shaft of the thick filament. The tails of the neighboring myosin molecules they lie parallel to each other and form the shaft of the thick filament. Each myosin molecule is in the shape of two golf clubs twisted around each other. Each myosin molecule consists of two types of meromycins, that is light meromycin and heavy meromycin. Light meromycin is the tail or back portion of the myosin molecule. This light meromycin, along with the neighboring myosin molecule, it intertwines with the neighboring light meromycin of the neighboring myosin molecule and forms the thick filament. Heavy meromycin is a terminal double head that extends from one end of the myosin molecule laterally and projecting towards one of the six thin filaments that surround each thick filament. So each thick filament is surrounded by six thin filaments, and these meromycins they project towards one of the six thin filaments, and each meromycin consists of an actin binding sites which when bind to this site they form myosin cross bridges which slide over in muscle contraction, and one ATP receptor is present and the other is a catalytic site for ATPase, where ATP is hydrolyzed to release energy for contraction. Now let us see about thin filament. Thin filament is 8 nanometer in diameter and 1 to 2 micrometers in length. Each thin filament consists of contractile protein called actin, and along with two other regulatory proteins are present called tropomyosin and troponin. So troponin consists of three subunits. This is troponin consisting of three subunits. Each actin filament is this actin filament is made up of globular actin molecules. Many globular actin molecules called G-actins, they unite together and they form a helical structure, and this helical structure is called as F-actin. So this F-actin it forms the thin filament along with tropomyosin and troponin. And tropomyosin is a long thread-like structure which is coiled helically over the actin, F-actin filament. So here this tropomyosin it masks the myosin binding sites which are present on the actin filament, which are present on the F-actin. F-actin consists of myosin binding sites, and these binding sites are masked by tropomyosin. And troponin is a filament is a contractile protein consisting of 3 subunits. Out of this, TNT subunit, it attaches with the tropomyosin. It binds with the tropomyosin, and TNC binds with calcium ions, and TNI is a inhibitory subunit. Now let us see the ultrastructure of the muscle fiber. The myofilaments join end to end and form the myofibril, and later form highly ordered structural units called sarcomeres. Sarcomere is a structural and functional unit of contraction. The arrangement of actin and myosin filaments, myofilaments in the myofibril make the banded or striated appearance with A bands, with thick A bands alternating the light I bands, with the darker A bands alternating the lighter I bands. So the A bands will have in the middle a zone called H zone, and this zone, in the center of the H zone, there is a faint M line is present. There is a Z line or Z disc in the I band, and this Z line or Z disc it is for the attachment of actin molecules. A sarcomere is defined as a segment present between two Z lines in a myofibril. This sarcomere consists of alternating I band and A band. The I band is a lighter band and it is less dense and consists only of actin filaments. So on either side of the Z line, only actin filaments are present in I band. And these actin filaments, they extend over the myosin filaments which are present in the A band. And next is and this Z line is it is the mid portion of the I band. It is the mid portion of the I band. And this A band is a dark band and it consists of myosin filaments. The myosin filaments completely, they are located in the A band, and in the middle of the A band only myosin filaments are present. But towards the end of the A band, where actin filaments slide over the myosin filaments, this portion, it appears more darker as thin filaments and thick filaments both overlap each other, and each myosin filament, it is surrounded by 6 actin filaments where myosin and actin filaments overlap, and thus it looks much darker. And this is the H zone where only myosin filaments are present, and in this there is a central line. This line is called as M line, which divides the H zone. M line consists of delicate filaments that attach myosin filaments to the center of the sarcomere. This M line helps the myosin filaments to held in their place. This M line helps in holding the myosin filaments in their place. Similarly, the Z line helps in holding the actin filaments in their place. M line consists of delicate filaments that attach the myosin filaments to the center of the sarcomere. With the help of the M line, the myosin filaments are held in place, and similarly, with the help of the Z line, the actin filaments are held in place.